Hello, today I'm going to be filming a video all about my experience of studying education studies at Bath University. I thought this video might be helpful for those who are looking to study it or looking to study some form of education at uni. So I hope you like this video, please like and subscribe and let's get started. Right, first of all I do want to say it is very warm in the UK today. It is the 1st of June when I'm filming this and it's like 25 degrees, so it's a bit warm and I've shut the window just because you can hear birds, you can hear lawnmowers, so yeah, if I get very sweaty, that is why. And also, my face is kind of a different colour to my neck because my fake tan is all rubbing off, so yeah, that's fun. Aside from that, I'm just going to get straight into the video. I started studying at Bath University in 2017 and I actually started doing a psychology and education combined course, and it was on like a major minor system. So that means like one part of, so it's not split in half basically, like one part you do more of. So for me, my major was psychology, so I did two. Well, when I first started at Bath, it was all like, it wasn't semesterised, so we did the same 4 modules for the whole year in my first year. So I think we had 4 modules in total, so I did 3 psychology ones and 1 education one. So if I remember correctly, the psychology ones were research methods possibly, debating individual differences, and probably like biological psychology. I honestly can't remember, it was so long ago. And then the education module was education for change, and that was the like core module you had to do like if you did any sort of education pathway. So yeah, I did do a video last year about my course experience so far, and I got quite a few views, so that's why I filmed this one now. Now I've like nearly finished my degree. So yeah, I did go more onto those modules in that video, but yeah, overall first year modules I found fairly straightforward. Like all my psychology ones were quite similar to A levels, so it just felt like a repeat of A levels. But obviously there's less pressure because the exams and stuff don't count towards your final degree grade. So yeah, I just really enjoyed first year, like going out and stuff like that. I think I finished on a 2-2. As I can't really remember, it was like 3-4 years ago now, so yeah. Second year was when things got a bit more complicated, so yeah, so I went into second year still doing psychology and education, but this year in our second year it changed to semesters. So instead of doing 4 semesters for the whole year, we did 3 modules each semester. So in first semester I did quantitative research methods, I think, and then it was biological psychology, and then whatever, I think the core module was issues in education, I feel like. So those are the 3 modules I did in my first half of second year, which I just completely hated the psychology part of it. Honestly, the statistics and research methods were just horrible. Like, it honestly felt like I was doing a maths degree, and that was not what I signed up to do at uni. I hated maths in school. I was not good at maths. I just felt I got a C, to be honest. So yeah, I just really wasn't enjoying myself, and I actually had a panic attack like during one of my psychology seminars because I just did not understand it. So yeah, it just was not a good time. My mental health really declined because I just did not really feel that supported by the psychology department. Like, I would go to my lecturers and be like, I don't understand this, and they were like, oh, part of your degree, is figuring out for yourself, which I'm like, yes, I get that, but also I'm paying a lot of money to learn this content and I don't understand it. And they didn't really do much, whereas I found the education department were a lot nicer, more understanding. They would like help me out more and stuff. So yeah, the core module of issues education I found really easy. It was quite, not easy, but like I understood it more. Like, I was just doing essays, which was much more most people, rather than doing like statistical equations. Like, that's just not me at all. So yeah, I then dropped out of university in like February, March time of 2019. So I didn't even finish that first semester of second year because I just did not understand it, and I was just going through a lot mentally and stuff. I spoke more about this in my previous video, which is my experience at Bath University, so if you want to know more about that, go watch that video. Dropped out in March 2019 and I moved back home. I wasn't at university for 6 months, so I just came home and worked and got therapy and stuff. And then I was like, you know what, I did actually enjoy the education part of my course, so I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go back to university doing education studies on its own, and yeah, just see how I go. I'm like, if I don't like it, I can always drop out again, so that's what I didn't. And obviously where I'd done the core module in my first year of my first course, they said I could just retake second year, because I'd already done the core module and got the core credits that way. So that was really lucky on my half, otherwise I would have had to like pay for an extra year of uni, which I couldn't afford. So yeah, because if you didn't know, you kind of get 4 years worth of funding in the UK. So even though courses, like a lot of undergraduate courses are 3 years, like say if you don't like a university, you don't like your course, you can drop out and then get another like additional year of funding. So I was all covered with like tuition and maintenance loan wise. I came back to university in September 2019 after 6 months, just doing education studies on its own. And yeah, so again I had to redo issues in education, but honestly I think my level of work was a lot better because I was just less stressed by everything else externally. So yeah, I did issues in education. God, I do remember the module I did, I just can't remember the order of them. So issues in education, I think I did youth, power and politics, and literacy learning in the multimedia world. So all of those I really, really enjoyed. Issues in education was a bit kind of like sociology, which I was used to. Someone is building something outside. Anyway, so yeah, issues in education, it was alright. When I first started on that, I don't know if it's because I took time out of uni, but my grades were kind of like at a 2-2, which is not what I wanted. So I went to the university library, and honestly, I think to this day it's probably the best thing I ever did to like get my grades up, because it literally, like at that time you could just like walk into the library and have like a drop-in session. They would read through your essay or like read half of it and just pick out things you could improve. And one of the best pieces of advice I got was like, if you're like at a 2-2, nearly a 2-1, but you can't, you're just stuck on a 2-2, then it's not even the content you're probably writing about, it's just the way you're writing it. So just make sure your references are all like perfect, because that really gets your like marks up. And like when you're writing different paragraphs, like make sure they flow well, and like each paragraph kind of relates to another, so you're not like talking about different things here, there and everywhere else. It just doesn't make sense. So yeah, that was really, really helpful. Since then I've always got a 2-1 in an essay, so yeah, apart from like 1 this year, which I didn't, but I'll talk about that later. So I would say if you're really struggling with like your marks being low and you don't understand why, go to a university library and they will be really, really helpful. No, sorry, I remember now. So as it was issues in education, then it was global and international development in education, and then it was youth, power and politics, or the youth media. Yeah, as I said, I can't remember the order of them, but anyway. So basically the core modules for second year were issues in education and global and international development, so we must have done that in second semester, but I don't remember being like online uni for that. But anyway, I'll just go through my modules. I did do a better version of this video like last year, so after I'd done second year. So yeah, I'll talk about literacy learning in the multimedia world. I really enjoyed that module. I had a really amazing lecturer. She was really passionate about her work, you could just tell. And basically we looked at like children's stories, how they've changed over the years, and like how digital forms have like changed storytelling and things like that. And I absolutely love the coursework for that, because we literally had to just make things. It was just so fun. So yeah, for that coursework we had to like, first of all we had to make like an interactive storybook, so that was really good. And then we also had to like write up an article and get like feedback on it from like people who would read it. I think I can still link that down below if I can, so I'll link it down below so you can read it. But I basically spoke about how YouTube like educates people, and it was just so nice you could tailor it to what you're interested in. So that's what I did for that. I got a really high 2-1 in that module because I just enjoyed it. And yeah, then I think I must have done international development in my second semester. And then youth, power and politics, again, I just learnt so much from it, because I never really learned about politics properly in school. The fact I could learn about it in uni was great. So yeah, and again I got a 2-1 in that, and that's what kind of influenced my dissertation question, which I'll talk about later. And again, the teacher was amazing in that module too, and she was also my dissertation supervisor in third year, which was really good. So yeah, and then I also did, as I said, global and international development. What was the other 2 modules I did? Oh, sociology of education I did as well. I'm sure it'll come back to me, but if you want to know more about my second year modules, go watch last year's video. And then this year I remember more clearly because I've actually like lived through it, you know. This year I took, in first semester I took, obviously the core modules for this year were dissertation part 1, dissertation part 2. And then I took, do you know what, I'm just getting my laptop, it might be easier. Okay, so I remember what I also took in second year. So the core module on the second semester for second year was professional practice in education. So that is when you basically had a placement and you have to write up about it after. But obviously with COVID, we were meant to go in for 1 day for 8 weeks. Like 1 day a week in a school or wherever you wanted to do your placement in. As long as it was related to your education, you could do your placement anywhere. So you could work for the council if you wanted to, or work in a prison. I know someone who did that. But I just chose to stick with the school because the uni kind of sorted it out for you. But I will say I literally hated it. The 3 days I went, I just knew teaching wasn't for me, and yeah, I did not get very well supported in my placement either. Like, I know we're not really allowed to talk about our placements online, but there was one time when I didn't even do anything wrong, and one teacher literally shouted at me, she's like, we could have failed Ofsted for that, and I was like, that is not something you say to someone who's training, but somehow I managed to get a first in that assignment, because that assignment was like, we did it right at the end, so it was like 5,000 words, and you basically had to like practice writing up a dissertation proposal forms. In fact, I got a first, and that was really good. And also, I had to do it based on like 3 days worth of placement, it should have been 8, so that was, yeah, I was quite happy with that. This year, in first semester, I took Education Dissertation Part 1, Global International Education, again, so as the dissertation modules are core, but if you do education studies, the international development modules, they are required, so you don't have to do them, but they prefer you to. So when you like select modules online, they're kind of there, all lined up ready for you. And then the one I picked was Young People, Identity and Subcultures in first semester. So that was also the same lecturer who did my Youth and Politics module in second year. So I knew I really liked her, and I knew like I was interested in it. Again, with the like identities and subcultures, it was quite similar to sociology, so I was quite familiar with the content. So I did sociology at A level. Got a 2-1 in all my modules for first semester, so I was really happy with that. And even in my global and international development module, I didn't really like the content much, but we did a group presentation and actually got a first on that group presentation, so that was really good. But then I got a 2-2 in the essay, but because I got a first in the other one, I got a 2-1 overall. So yeah, pretty happy with that. And then this semester I'm currently taking, obviously, Education Dissertation Part 2, so obviously that work does just kind of carry over. It doesn't really change, but because it's a semester, they've got to like split into Part 1 and Part 2. But what I liked about it was where it was split in half, we did get graded like halfway through it, so I was able to submit half of it in like January time, got the grade back, and I got a 2-1, so I was very pleased. So yeah, this semester I'm doing Education Dissertation Part 2, Identity, Philosophy and Education, and that's the one I'm still doing now. So I've got a presentation in 2 weeks, but I probably would have done it by the time this video is uploaded, so hopefully it's all going well. So yeah, in Identity and Philosophy and Education, the assessments are basically split in. The first one I had to do an essay, got a 2-1 in that, which was nice, and this part is the second part's presentation. And then yes, you find that as quite similar with most modules. You usually have one which is like a group thing, and like one that's like an essay. Yeah, even Young People and Identities, it's the same. We did an essay, then we did a group thing, which was, I thought would be more difficult doing it online, to be honest, but like as where we kind of learn how to do it in second year. So with sociology, again, we have to do a presentation online. It's fairly straightforward. You can either just record your voiceovers before and upload it on the day, or what most people do is the lecturers will put you in like presenter mode, and you just upload your PowerPoint and talk over it. Most of the time people just turn their cameras off anyway, so you can't even see people, they can't see you. So it's quite, I feel like it's a lot less stressful doing a presentation online compared to like in person. And the other module I did this semester was Social and Educational Inclusion, which I found quite dull at times, but again, the first half we did like our own presentations, and then the second bit was an essay, so I should get the grades back on that next week, I think. But I got a 2-1 in the first bit, so I basically average a 2-1, which I'm quite, like all the way through uni, I was like, as long as I get a 2-1, I'll be happy, and that's kind of going my way so far. My modules, I hope it made sense, or I was kind of a bit all over the place there. But as I said, if you want to know more about my second year modules, watch last year's video. But yeah, I think this year my favourite modules have probably been Young People and Identities was quite interesting, like learning about different like sort of subgroups. So like the sort of evolution of like sort of goths and skinheads and things like that was really interesting, and how they're affected by education. Do you know what, philosophy is interesting more than I thought it would do. Like the actual module choice for third year was quite bad, to be honest. Like we did not have much to choose from at all, especially like in first semester we had to do dissertation and global development. Like we could only pick one other. Social and educational inclusion I think was quite important to learn in these times, but it wasn't the most interesting thing in the world. And I think with your dissertation, if you do something you're actually interested in, it's not that bad to write about, but I just didn't like the structure of writing a dissertation. I think most people can agree the worst part of it is the fact you've got to like justify everything you're doing and write it as if you're like doing an investigation, when you're writing an essay you're not really doing that anyway. So I think in that sense it's pretty easy to write if you're doing like interviews or a survey or whatever, but because of coronavirus they did kind of like encourage us not to do that, to do like secondary research, just so you don't have to worry about like asking people for input and having to see people in person. So yeah, I did thematic analysis. I'll link a video down below about it. As I said, by the end of it I was quite bored of it. I was like, I just want this thing gone. So I managed to finish like a week early, which is really nice. So yeah, we'll see what I get on the second part. Hopefully I get another 2-1, that would be great. But you know, we'll see. And also with coronavirus, I wasn't talking about it, the no detriment policy was something we struggled with through our years of uni. So second year we obviously all got no detriment, so at the end of the year they either took our grade from first semester or they took our grade average from second semester, whichever that was better. They used that as our grades, so that basically meant our grades couldn't go down because of coronavirus, which was really good. But then when it came to third year, they were like, oh, because you haven't had a normal semester since like 2019, we can't give you no detriment. And they were like, oh, we've also agreed this month in advance that like all the coursework is like at not an easier level, but like it's easy to retain in like corona lockdown situations. We're like, okay, they haven't really changed that much from what we heard anyway. But yeah, so we were really like fighting. We had like loads of meetings with like senior management and stuff about like, can we please have some form of no detriment. So they did kind of compromise. So with this year, basically get from our third year average, they can take away 2 of our worst module grades, which I think is alright. Usually only get rid of 1, so that's something. And then again, they'll just use our third year average, which is minus 2 of our worst module grades, with our either second year no detriment grade or our second year like second semester grade average. So we will see. It's quite complicated to explain, but hopefully that does make some sort of sense. And yeah, I think I'll talk about online learning as well, because that's something that really changed throughout my years of uni. So before corona, I was on campus maybe 8 hours a week on education studies anyway, which I think was alright. Obviously since like lockdown number 2, I haven't been on campus at all, so I've just been in my room doing my degree, which is really fun. But I think I've just got used to it, to be honest. I think as well, being at home, I get a lot more done because I haven't got distractions, like I'm not going out or anything. So I think you do just kind of get on with it. And even I remember in second year, one of my module leaders was actually saying the quality of work actually increased a lot throughout uni, because I guess people weren't going out, they weren't distracted or whatever, and there was like nothing else to do in lockdown other than uni work. So the lecturers were quite impressed that we all kind of, not everyone, but like a lot of people improved their grades. What helped me personally with like online uni was, first of all, I changed my whole room around. So my desk is like literally facing my window now. I took my mirror off it so I can use it as a desk rather than a dressing table. And what I would do as well, in between like lectures or in between writing essays, I would just walk downstairs and walk back up again, so it felt like I was kind of changing lessons. Like, you know, obviously if you were in uni you'd like move rooms, so it kind of just stimulated that. So yeah, I would definitely recommend doing that, and just taking regular breaks from the screen. You're not meant to be looking at the screen for like 6 hours a day, so make sure you get up and move around and get some snacks, whatever, walk the dog. Like, I do that quite a lot. And blue light glasses are a lifesaver as well. So the fact that I did take time out of university, in my second year especially, they did email me quite regularly saying like, we hope you're okay, like if you need anything let us know. So that was quite nice. I didn't really get any of his emails in third year, but I guess they assumed because I stayed on, I was like, okay. And what I liked about my course as well, it was quite small. I think there was about 40 people on it by the end, like in this year. So all of our lecturers knew us really, really well. Even in my philosophy class, there's like 5 of us that turn up every week. So we just know each other really well, just for like a nice chat, to be honest. And yeah, I'm so glad I changed degrees. I think I would have been really, really unhappy if I stayed on doing psychology. But yeah, I also know people who did psychology at Barcelona and loved it. So I think it just depends on the person. I don't think that's really a reflection of the university. It was just me picking the wrong course. But I did overall really love education studies. I mean, I don't want to be a teacher, so I'm going to go into the questions I've been asked as well. So the first question is, what am I doing next? That old question. Do you know what? I don't really know. I said I know I don't want to teach. Just not really for me. I worked with kids since I was about 16 to like 20, and I just kind of grew out of it. But I currently work in social media for an education consultancy company. So they basically go to university. Well, they don't go to university, it's all virtual right now, but my director does like workshops with like university students to make them more employable, and we also have a podcast and a book about like student experiences and things. So yeah, I felt like it's a sort of job where it's quite rewarding. So I basically run the social medias for the book, and I help out with the podcast Instagram as well, and I help post on LinkedIn. So I do quite a varied role, and I also do blog writing. So I'm doing that part-time right now. But maybe in the future I can go full-time, because there's nothing else I don't really know what I want to do at this point in time in my life. Like, I just don't have a clue. Like, especially with university, you don't even have time to think about it, to be honest. So I would say if you're someone in third year, oh my god, why is someone mowing the lawn? I would say if you're in third year, you don't know what you want to do, or if you're in second year of an education degree, like I don't want to teach, please don't worry, there's so many other options that is not teaching with an education degree. Like, you can go into journalism, you can go into charity work, you can do so much, you learn so much about people generally in an education studies degree. Because a lot of questions I get is like, oh, are you not just qualified at the end of it? No, you're not. If you did like primary education pathway or secondary education pathway, that's more like teaching you how to be a teacher. Whereas education studies is more theoretical. As I said, it's a lot of sociology, a lot of like philosophy and things like that, which I personally quite like, because you do see lots of different aspects of education which you wouldn't really think of. The answer to what am I doing next, I don't really know, but as I said, I'm just staying part-time in my job right now, which is quite a nice like break, but it still gives me some structure to my day. Like, this week's my first week with no lectures, and the fact I've still got little tasks to do throughout the day is quite good for my brain. But it's not as like intense as like doing lectures like 9 till 5, if you know what I mean. Next question I got was, why did I drop out of psychology? And the main answer to that is because I hated the statistics. So education studies is a BA, which is a Bachelor of Arts, so that basically means your coursework and stuff is more creative. As you probably noticed, there's no exams either, which is really nice. So as I said, most of the time you're writing essays, but there was opportunities where we did like presentations, or we made like interactive resources, so that's what I quite liked about my course as well. But whereas with psychology there was exams and it was a Bachelor of Science, there was some kind of statistical element to the course which just wasn't for me. So yeah, it was definitely research methods, which is why I dropped out. I just didn't enjoy it one bit. So yes. So this video is quite long already. I hope you found this helpful. If you've got any other questions about my course or my time at Bath Spa, let me know, because I won't really be filming any videos anymore, because I'm done now. I have nothing else to really share about my experience at Bath Spa. But if you're off to university in September, good luck. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you soon. Please like and subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you soon. Bye.